the Metropolitan Police attempted to destroy my life and end my career for their own public relations purposes in a case that was a 100% fraud.
It was what, was a distressed individual?
I use the term distressed individual because other people are not so generous.
Did you ever find out who it was or what?
I know the name of this person, but since I've never known him, I can't comment on his mental state. As a matter of fact, the first time I saw a policeman after my arrest was 14 months later when the case had been dropped and they returned all the materials they'd taken from me. And I said, I'm beginning to think I will never know this person's state of mind. And he said, you will never know this person's state of mind. I learned after my case was dropped that he'd been thrown out of boarding school for making a false sexual allegation. And the policemen who visited me said they knew this. Well, great. He had what in Britain they call form. But in the hysteria and in the witch hunt, it was enough to take me out of action for a year.
Now, the BBC, before that, had already... They'd flagged you as a security risk. What was that all about?
Oh, that was in the 1970s. I was told that my personnel file had a Christmas tree on it. And I said, what does that mean? And it means you're gay, because gay people were seen to be security risks because a couple of the famous British spies had been gay.
Okay, this is in the era, well, the post-era of Burgess Philby MacLean.
Exactly,
yeah, okay.
Exactly, yeah. So they put Christmas trees on your file. Fairy on the top of a Christmas tree, get it? And, you know, how obtuse. I laugh that one off, but they don't do that anymore.
But it has changed your opinion of Britain and our famous fair play?
Oh, of course. When I was a boy, Roger Miller had a hit called England Swings. Like a pendulum do, bobbies on bicycles, 2x2. And the British police were the most respected and loved in the world. They have now become a third-rate Stasi, dedicated to dishonesty and dedicated to injustice. And I would now, rather than encourage Americans to move to Britain, I would have to encourage them to postpone their investment and tourism plans for Britain until the witch hunt is declared over, because I would not want any of my fellow Americans to be stitched up on fraudulent sex charges, as I was. I mean, my case was so absurd. Two people I'd never known in my life in the decade before I even started having same-sex relations. I mean, you can't be more than 100% wrong, but the British police keep trying. What we've learned about the British police, we don't want anyone else to ever have to learn again. But being what they are, being as fundamentally corrupt as they are from the core, they never admit error, they never apologize to their victims, they never offer restitution. Even when some of their victims have included the nation's greatest living war hero, a former prime minister, the nation's most successful solo singles star in the British charts, Cliff Richard, a former Home Secretary, member of the cabinet. All of these people have been defamed by the British police without apology. And I've watched in disbelief at first, and then contempt, as the Commissioner of the Metropolitan Police, Bernard Hogan Howe, when asked by name to comment on my case on the Radio 4 Today breakfast news program, would not mention my name and change the subject. Then, when he was testifying before the Home Affairs Select Committee in Parliament, he was asked by the chairman to comment on my case by name. He would not, and changed the subject. Other incredulous MPs from both major parties asked him to comment on my case by name. He would not, and he changed the subject. Imagine how I feel, living in the country I chose to live in, with a police commissioner who was afraid to even mention my name. He is not only the villain of my life, he is the coward of my life. And I'm not waiting for him to apologize anymore, because I know why he won't mention my name. I know why he won't apologize, because he's lawyered up to the eyeballs, and the lawyers are saying to the Metropolitan Police, never admit error because then you might be sued. But more insidiously, if the police apologize to Britain's greatest war hero, etc., they admit that their sources are not telling the truth. And the British police cosset and protect their false accusers, without whom they could not conduct a witch hunt. The British police abet criminals.